Hi, my son Sean asked me to make a video of how I make my spaghetti sauce. I have to give credit for the sauce to my dad, my grandma, and my mom. My dad was made in Italy, born in the United States. My grandma came over on the boat. I probably changed the recipe a bit, but this is kind of basically how I make Italian spaghetti sauce. By the way, Italians don't call it sauce, they call it gravy. The first thing is to open up the can. Now this sometimes can be a challenge. Yay, it worked! Yay! I absolutely am excited to share this with my son and anyone else who wants to learn how to make my spaghetti sauce. There you go. One of the things about my sausage that people really like is it's very tender. And the reason it is because I boil it before I actually put it into the tomato sauce or the gravy. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to grab my big pan of water, put it over here on the stove, and I'm going to gently drop, it's not a phallic symbol, it's a sausage. Okay. So I'm just dropping this sausage into the water and I will boil it probably for about an hour. You can literally impress people with a cheap can of dollar store Hunt Italian sauce. Make these things, cook them for like an hour and put them in the sauce until they start to split and serve them, and people will think you're brilliant. Your sausage is the best in the world. That's what they tell me all the time. I love my Italian sausage. I don't use hot. I wish I could do hot. My daddy did everything hot and it just burned my mouth. I think it got ruined from the time I was a little girl. So now I can't do that. So that's it. We put the sausage in the water and we let it boil and it comes out real tender. It also gets rid of a lot of that grease that you don't want in there. That's that. Garlic, Italian, garlic, garlic, Italian. They go right together, just like that. Garlic is really important. My grandmother ate so much garlic. She was a really cute little Italian lady. She wore a black dress for like 4 or 5 years after my grandpa died. But she had these braids in her hair that she wore like a crown. Oh, she was so precious. Such a sweet lady. Anyway, she taught me a lot about how cooking spaghetti sauce. My dad also taught me some more, and my mother, who was French, added a little extra special different thing, so I have my own type of spaghetti sauce. But garlic, the way to get the outside on garlic, you can just use a knife and push it down, but I've got my handy dandy smasheroonie. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. And from there, you peel off the outside, because that smashing thing helps you to get rid of that shell. And then, now if you're doing certain kinds of food, you'd leave the garlic whole when you put it in the oil, like for instance clams and spaghetti. But for my spaghetti sauce, I'm going to leave my garlic in it. I don't want it to be too big. Once I get this in here, then I add it to my oil. That'll be the next step. Garlic, the smell of garlic on your hands, usually after you've done the dishes, the garlic smell is usually gone. But if you're not doing the dishes, if you're lucky enough to have other people do the dishes for you, a stainless steel knife and water can take the smell of garlic off your hands. Doesn't work for everybody, but it works for me. Just use it like a piece of soap. The whole thing is stainless steel, and you just keep using it like a piece of soap. Now, there's another thing I learned over the years, that sometimes mustard, I know it sounds weird, and trust me, the mustard doesn't stay on your hands either, but if it does, maybe it smells a little better than garlic, probably not. And then do that. Boom, boom, boom. Perfect, perfect. No smell on my hands at all. I'm telling you, this is a great thing when people share the little secrets that they've learned over the years, and I learned that from a chef. Now, this may seem like a lot of garlic, but guess what? For the pan that I'm using, this probably isn't enough. In fact, I might add some more to it. So I put this in the olive oil and the seasonings that are already in the pan. Wait till you see my wonderful pan. I make enough spaghetti sauce so that I don't have to cook it again for a while. So I bring it over here, and I'm going to put it into the pan. So you'll see in my pan I have olive oil. The olive oil just simply covers the bottom of the pan. It doesn't need to be 2 inches deep or anything. And then I'm going to take, because this is a huge amount of sauce, I'm going to take about that much Italian seasoning and put it in there. And the garlic. Oh boy. There we go. Great smelling stuff. Delicious. Woo! Now the reason that we do it this way is because the great chefs of the world say that if you put the seasoning in the olive oil and cook it, you're going to get a better flavor. And then you're going to mix it up. And that's it for this step. So this is my mashed up tomatoes, which goes into the garlic and the oil. You can kind of smell it when it's done. Just soften the garlic ever so slightly and then pour it in. Now, my grandmother was very frugal, so she taught me to make sure I get all of the juices from the can and not to waste anything. Plus the fact I also need to add water to this eventually, so this is a good thing. So that's what we do next. We just wait now, and then we'll be adding the meatballs and the sausage shortly. So the reason I boiled the sausage, as you can see on the top of this sausage, is all that junk there. I don't want that in my spaghetti sauce, and that's what happens. So now I'll be draining this shortly and taking that off of my sausage. That's to me, that's an important step. So my next step is meatballs. Now, in meatballs, I use Italian seasoning, Italian-style breadcrumbs, a little extra garlic, and a lot of cheese, and a bunch of eggs as well. I really love my meatballs, but they're a lot of work. So sometimes I just do loose hamburger, but I really like meatballs. And we're making meatballs because I'm having company for spaghetti dinner. I have to impress them. So that's the next thing I'll do. First I start, of course, by breaking up the hamburger so that it's easier to crush. I'm not going to, so it's all over the place. I'm not adding seasoning to this. I just wanted you to know that in here there's marjoram, thyme, rosemary, basil. And this one has a little sage in it as well. So this has almost everything you could use. Now you could add fennel if you like that flavor. The sausage has fennel in it, so I'm not adding fennel to my sauce. And I just start pouring in this. Lots of that, and lots of eggs and cheese. And then when I'm ready to make meatballs, we'll be back. So just to give you an idea, I use quite a bit of Italian-style breadcrumbs, almost half of one of these large cans, because I've got 5 pounds of hamburger. And I used a jar of one of the Kraft grated cheese, so that's that much cheese. That's a lot of cheese. I used 7 eggs and 2 tablespoons of this garlic, which I like if I don't want to make from scratch. This works pretty good. And I did add a little bit more Italian seasoning. Now, when I'm mixing it together, I do a little bit at a time, and I also add a little water because it gets real dry with all the cheese and the breadcrumbs. So I add a little water to it. So the next step, of course, is after you get it all mixed up. Oh, by the way, did I ever tell you the story of how when I was in the Philippines, I made this spaghetti for my husband? And we went shopping later, and I was looking at something, and I looked at my ring, and instead of having a diamond in it, I had a big piece of hamburger in there because I had made the best meatballs, but we never did find the diamond, and we did look. Anyways, I don't like to make the meatballs too big, so I start by patting, and getting them all nice and solid, and then I roll. Now, my father used to take the meatballs and put them in oil and fry them up a little bit. They say it helps to keep the juices in. I don't do that. You might want to do that. I seem to be okay with the mixture that I make, and I just make the meatballs and set them to the side, and I will be adding them to the sauce shortly with the wonderful sausage, which will be ready by then too. So I just make them. Roll them until there's no cracks, no creases. Like the crease there, I gotta pinch that sucker together. Rolly. And then, when I'm ready, I stick them into the sauce. That's it for now. I'm still at it. It's been about 20 minutes now, and I've made a whole bunch of of these wonderful meatballs. Now, the thing about the pressing, it's important to press and roll and press because you want to get all of the little cracks out of the hamburger. So when it's cooking in the sauce, it doesn't fall apart. So this is my last one, yay, and they're pretty even size. I guess you just get used to a certain amount in your hand, and I don't have a ring on to lose my diamond in today, thank God. And that's it. So from here we just add this to the sauce, and I do it one at a time, which I'm not going to bore you with, and then I will add the sausage last. First I'll pour the water off the sausage, make sure they're all cut apart so they're not, sometimes sausages stick together, you know, like long things, like, because it is after all an intestine of a pig. So there you go. That's it. So next thing I do is just drop them in the sauce. So this is how many meatballs. I think I had 5 or 6 pounds of hamburger. Probably too many, but that's me, overdo everything. So we just drop them in there one at a time. It would not be good to drop them in there as a group because they probably stick together. So I drop these in here, and then I will drop my sausage in after. It's going to be so good. I can't wait. It's been a long time since I've made a big pot of spaghetti like this. Now I will freeze this, so we'll be able to have spaghetti. I can have company, and I can pull out my frozen spaghetti sauce, and we're on for party time. Oh boy. So I've been gone away from my little pot here for a couple of hours. In fact, I went out to lunch with my friend Janet, and I came back and I'm checking to see how my sausage is. Right now it's looking pretty good. So what I do next is I take out the sausage, and I take out, now this will be fun trying to find a meatball. I take out the, aren't they beautiful? Look at that meatball, that is perfect. And I take them out of this sauce and I set them aside, and I continue to let the sauce cook. I also always save a can for my stir stick, and then I can just throw it away when I'm done. I love that. So I'll just continue now to take all the sausage and the meatballs out of here and put them there, let them sit a bit, then I'll put them in the refrigerator. I'll let this sauce continue to cook. To start this sauce off today, I had to actually heat it up on high. This is a very big pan. I was touching the pan and it wasn't even hot. I was like, what? So I turned it up all the way high. So the best way to make sure that you get your sauce cooked properly is to turn it up, and once you know it's really hot, then turn it all the way down on the lowest and just let it sit and simmer. Do not cover. If you cover your sauce, it will burn. So you just let all that extra water that I put in there will be coming out. The sauce will be getting thicker, and it'll change color. When it changes color, it's perfect. You'll see. After the sauce has been cooking a while, I take the meatballs and the sausage out of the sauce so that it doesn't overcook. Otherwise, it'll just fall apart. And then I rejoin them together later. I'm going to be bagging my sauce and all of this together today and bagging it up so we'll have spaghetti sauce in the future. Well, this is my spaghetti pan. My daughter-in-law and my son, my daughter-in-law Lori and my son Ty bought this for me for a Christmas present. So when I make my pasta, I use a little bit of olive oil in the water and a little bit of salt. It helps the pasta not stick together when you go to rinse, put it into the strainer, which would be the next step. So I need my helper now. If you wouldn't mind helping me, honey, come on in here to the picture. I also have a really small pot of sauce. What I did was I took all those packages of sauce and I made packages. So we got 11 meals out of that. So he's going to strain it. He's my best helper. He's the one who decides how much pasta goes in the... I've never been able to figure out how much to put in there in the water, but Bill seems to know that. This is my honey, my love of my life. He's testing. I think it's good. Yeah? Okay, go ahead and strain it. The strainer's over here. Good. Oh boy. Okay, your glass. Let me take off your glasses for you. Okay, because they always spot it up and then you can't see what he's doing. Okay. And the next thing you know, we're going to be sitting down to a fabulous meal of spaghetti sauce or gravy, and sausage and hamburgers. Oh boy, I can't wait. Yay! You did good. Thank you. Handy dandy spaghetti tool. Gosh, I lost this one for a while and had to do it with 2 forks. Oh my goodness. The only way to do spaghetti is with this guy right here. I love him. We just pull out the spaghetti. Oh boy. And put it in the plate. Oh yay. And Bill always seems to know just how much pasta to put. You'll notice I'm doing 3 plates because I'm doing one for my photographer. Of course, can't put somebody through all that work and then not feed them. My goodness. And, okay. Wow, this looks so good. Actually, I could eat this with sugar on it and be happy.
With sugar?
Yeah.
Just sugar?
I love pasta, honey. I said sugar. I love sugar. I love it. They make, you've probably never heard of it, pasta pie. Not up my alley. Okay, so then I get my handy dandy sauce, which I need to get my hot pads, maybe. Oh boy, nope, no hot pads needed. Put this over here. Get out my handy dandy scooper. Wrong draw. Oh well. Here, I like this size right here. Kind of know how much sauce to put on somebody's food. Okay, so we're going to get a meatball. Oh boy, and a sausage. Yes. I always prepare the plate, and I usually ask the people, how much would you like? And then I give them more than they asked for, so they can take some home. Okay, and plate number 2, sausage. Oh boy, doesn't that look great? Oh, can't wait. My mouth is watering like crazy. Okay, 2 meatballs on this one. Oh boy. Okay. All we have to do now is sit down and enjoy. Add a little Parmesan cheese, maybe some hot peppers, a little salt and pepper. I never cook with salt, except I did do the pasta in salt. So I think people have a right to have their own salt, not some salt it for them. Okay, that's it. I'll see you at the table. So here it is, the masterpiece. Isn't that just beautiful? As my mother would say, beautiful. Now, I always used to be able to twist and twirl. Before I do that, however, if this was a cooking show, I'd have a little plate with a little spoon and we'd take out the Kraft cheese that I like. But this time we're not doing that. We're just going to put cheese on it.
Well,
and of course,
not from that end.
Oh, not from this end, thanks, honey. Yeah, that would have been fun, a plate full of, okay, we put a little sauce, a little this on there, and you can put a little on yours, and I got you some new red peppers, so it'll be nice and fresh. Anyways, as I was saying, I always twisted my spaghetti on a spoon, and even to this day, a couple of my kids are bound and determined the only way to eat pasta is with a fork and spoon. Now, since I had my hands operated on so much, I can't twist so good on the spoon. So what I've done is adapted my little twist to the actual plate. That way, I can use both hands to twist like this and get a perfect sized bite. Oh, of course, a little hanging is not bad either. So good. Perfect. Perfect spaghetti. Thank you, God, for this wonderful meal, for the hands that prepared it, for the people that are eating it, for the photographer behind the camera, as we sit down and enjoy this wonderful Italian spaghetti, meatballs, and sausage. Thanks for watching this video. I really appreciate it. One of my favorite things to do with pasta is share it with Shotzi. I love this. It makes me laugh. Here we go. Ready, Shotzi?
Oh, that was a good one. I hope you got that one.
Do it one more time? Okay, you're getting home. We don't usually give Shotzi any of this kind of food. I give her good, healthy food, but this is just too fun. We can't pass it up. Ready? Good girl, Shotzi. Good girl. Okay, down you go. Go on.
Come on.
That's it. That's my girl. Love my dog.
Jump.